Hey team, welcome back. In this tutorial, let's see how we can compare two CSV files completely using a brute force approach, right? We're not going to use any kind of library for this particular tutorial. Um, well, there are some instances where you might not have that data compile library sitting in your organization, right? And and let's assume that the file that you're working with is less than a million, maybe at least in this case, I'm going to use a 100,000 volume sample set, and we'll see how you can use brute force. When I say brute force, all it translates to is we compare one rows and columns of one file with one row and column of a different file at the same point of time um, for the whole records, right? So it's going to be when I say brute force, because it has to look at each and everything, compare them for both the files, and then you get to the final result. So it is from a big O standpoint, it's not ideal, right? From those of you who come from data structure standpoint, right? So yeah, that's about that. Let's get started. I do have the file created here. Some of the things like housekeeping, just please go ahead and get any information about logging and sys, import those respectively. I'll be using pandas for this particular exercise. The whole point is to read the CSV and also get the respective rows and columns. Um, I do want to create a log file, so I'm saying that hey, create a file called compare_v1.log, get the created in this particular location, and some of them are housekeeping information like level equals logging.DEBUG, and how I want to handle my stderr, stdout. Again, please go ahead and use this information. There's a lot of information about the doc, and you can find in documentation. This information can go as much as you want, but I kind of keep it very simple. But if you want, please feel free to read that documentation. Next step is going using a pandas.read CSV to go ahead and read those files in. Straightforward. This button tells me column is to get the respective rows and columns from D1, which obviously in this particular case is a pandas data frame. Next up, I've commented some of the steps here. This is in case that you do have some blanks, you want to strip them off, you can do that. But for this exercise, I've kept them as commented out. But there are use cases where you do want to take away or strip those blanks off to make sure you want to compare um, your data sets. Next thing is just if there's some missing data, I want to populate them as zeros. Depending on the use case, you can keep it. If you don't keep it, doesn't really impact. But you do find those um, extra things popping out, which I just want to keep them as as equal as possible. So I'm just going to go ahead and use fill NA to get the missing data and populate them as zeros. There you go. I probably don't. I think I'm just putting the same information here just to. I probably don't need this information, so I'm just going to go ahead and comment it out. All right. The next thing that we have here is all I'm trying to do is sort. Right? We need to make sure sort that data set that you have, so that you can comes back to comparing um, oranges with oranges, right? That's very important. You don't want to be in a place where you're comparing apples with oranges kind of scenario. Next is that if you are now taking the data frame, which is in pandas, and converting to lists, it makes it easier for comparison because again we're trying to kind of use a brute force approach. All right, the next thing that trying to do is this is the crux of the algorithm wherein you're taking the number of rows and also respective columns, you're having a placeholder, get the values into the placeholder for A and B, and then we're saying, hey, if A equals B, great, right? We're good to go. You can obviously go ahead and put information about what you want to do. I'm just saying that if A equals B and you don't want that information popping out, or meaning going into my log, as it's passed, right? If you're not equal, then I'm saying that the values of the data frame for a row does not match with the respective columns and what those values are. So that is the point of this format. So we have pretty much all the information sorted out here. Before I go ahead and do it, let me go ahead and showcase the file that the log will be getting created. Right now is compare.log. The file that I've created is compare_v1.log. So that should pop up here. So I think we are good to go and run that script. Go run module. I'm obviously made some changes. Let me save it, and it is running. Right, it's running as you can see here. So everything will go and dump into your log. So let me go and open that log. All right, we've been getting created. Its volume is 100,000, so you can expect it to be huge. So I'm just going to show some of the examples, so some of the log is what is getting spit out. Right at the bat, we can tell that, it's comparing row 0 with the column 13, and then match values it shows up on your screen, right? There is a difference from a decimal standpoint, so which it gets you that information as well. The same thing can be seen here. Here, at row 1, which matches with column 7, it tells that the date format is not great. So as you can see, this is going to spit out each and every information when there's a difference. It's not ideal if you have a huge data set because, as you can see, and it's going to take you forever to go through all this information and see where the differences are. It's not great, but it gets the thing done, right? So keep that in hand. Keep that in mind as to whenever you want to use this process to go ahead and make some comparisons. You can make changes to the log and say that, hey, if you're dead, you can um, let's not output that. You can make some changes on the fly as well. But again, completely up to you how you want to handle that. So that's all that I have for this tutorial. So yeah, take it for what it's worth is. I don't use a whole lot because I do have other libraries where I can compare them and get my work done. Um, Again, if you like this, please do give a thumbs up and please do subscribe. Current helps out the YouTube algorithm. Thank you.